Let's get started. As people join, we will admit them. But thank you all so much for joining our Fall Member Show 2024 virtual awards ceremony. We thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here with us. So, your host today, I am the exhibitions manager for the Maryland Federation of Art. I'm joined today by Juliana Oakes. She is the gallery assistant who will be running point from Circle Gallery. And just a few words on what we do as an organization. The Maryland Federation of Art is a visual nonprofit organization that hosts more than 40 exhibitions every year. Our mission is to make connections in the local and online communities through art, with exhibits and events in the Circle Gallery in Annapolis, Maryland, online and in numerous alternate venues. Yeah, we provide artists of all genres, medias, and backgrounds with the opportunity to exhibit works selected by professionally credentialed jurors and to be recognized with monetary awards. Artists do not have to be members to enter our exhibitions. Members have several advantages, such as lesser entry fees, access to networking, and additional exhibition opportunities. If you're interested in learning more about becoming a member, please visit our membership page on our website. So, a few words on the exhibition. Today, we're going to be going over the Fall Member Show 2024. In this exhibition, the Maryland Federation of Art invited all MFA members residing of any of the states or territories in the US, Canada, and Mexico to enter this show. Any original 2D or 3D work was considered by our juror. And our juror today is Miss Margery Goldberg. She founded Zenith. Well, first off, her full bio is listed on our website. Please go check that out because this is just a few highlights of who she is. So Miss Goldberg founded Zenith Gallery in 1978, establishing it as a prominent art gallery in Washington, D.C., with a national reach. The gallery features a wide array of art forms, including paintings, sculptures, and mixed media works. As one of the first women in America with a complete woodworking studio in 1973, Margie has been dedicated to working with wood for over 45 years. Her passion stems from a deep connection to trees, which she views as essential partners to humanity. Ms. Goldberg leads Zenith Consulting as well, which is an extension of her gallery that focuses on placing art in public, private, and corporate spaces. This service has allowed her to build a reputation for her expertise in curating art collections across the Washington, D.C. tri-state area. Now I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Goldberg, and she's going to have some opening remarks about the exhibition.
Well, hi everybody. It's never easy to curate a show down from 450 entries to about 60. To say that's challenging is putting it mildly. And of course, I come to it with my own preferences. One of my lines is I like my art well crafted and my craft well arted. So I'm not into sloppy craftsmanship at all, being a woodworker and doing highly finished work. I really like mixed media because it allows artists to sort of develop their own technique and have a look that nobody else has. So I look for uniqueness in work, and I also look to how well done it is. Like if somebody is an oil painter, how well do they paint? And when I didn't curate this thing in person, so there are things I didn't get to look at, like if the sides were painted, how it was mounted, all of the things that I would look at if I was going to bring it to my gallery, like how the sides are done, how it's, what do you have D rings on it, all sorts of things like that, how it's signed. I'm kind of picky, but there was plenty to choose from in this show. I am not an enormous fan of digital art. I rather have people's hands on the stuff, and but there were some, really quite compelling pieces of that. Um, and and also there was some really great oil paintings of birds and things like that, which were beautiful. I may not have chosen them just because of the subject matter. Not that I don't like birds, I do, but I kind of like unique subject matters, or just what artists, what really moves an artist. So that's kind of what I look for. Is there some soul into the piece. And there was a lot of that. So, and there were some very good sculptors, and there were some, really fun, whimsical pieces that were combined a lot of different materials, and I like that too. So, again, like any juror, I take the art that, is what moves me. It's funny because this piece, and I see it's a spatula, but if you didn't tell me what this was made out of, I would think that this was woven or stitched or something like that, because it's an oil on canvas, but it with a spatula. But the amazing part of it, and I always like tondos, so that's kind of fun. The shapes of the colors are all the same, and which is why I thought it was stitched or something like that. It's like, how do you do that with a spatula, getting every single solitary element on this the same? I mean, not the same color by any stretch of the imagination, but at least kind of the same thing. And again, it kind of looks like it's woven or a tapestry or something. So I thought that was kind of clever, and also like lighthouses. And I think it was very well done. I also have an affinity for mosaics. I have a really good mosaic artist I show, but I don't think she answered this. But yeah, I like the human body. I sculpted myself, and I thought this was a really well done mosaic. Again, I didn't get to see the back. I guess I would assume, but maybe not correctly, that it's, hangs on a wall, and so the back does not have mosaic on it. But I thought this was just an extremely well done piece, and a lot of different materials. And I particularly like the hospital gown. That's kind of interesting. But I think it's as far as the body goes, very, in some sense realistic, and the colors are great, and it's just a really good looking, well done piece. This is kind of hitting me where, this is what I know the most about, of course, is wood. And it is it's kind of an amazing piece how he did it. And I do want to learn more about it, how he put it all together. I know a lot about woodworking, and this looks like a really difficult piece to do. And and I happen to be a big fan of negative space, which is a word that sculptors use all the time. It's the space that's not there. So he has a really good use of negative space, and so I love just, I love the roundness. And I always knew in my case with woodworking, since everything I do is sort of smooth and sensual, that my biggest frustration in woodworking was you have to make something square before you make it round. And he obviously had to do that with this. You got to join and plane everything, and then you got to put it together, and then it ends up round, but it surely didn't start that way. So I'm sure an enormous amount of work went into this piece, and so very dynamic. I like for a lot of reasons. I was a huge fan of Jimmy Carter, and I think tomorrow is his 100th birthday. And my line about this election was, I would vote for Jimmy Carter instead of Donald Trump, even in the condition he's in, And again, my nonprofit built a mobile wood shop, and we're training a new generation of carpenters. So this whole Habitat for Humanity thing really gets me where I'm, in a lot of my belief systems. And, so I think it was an extraordinary thing that he did. And, he was a president who, instead of going out and making a fortune after being a president, he did really good things. for the country and the world. And but the painter really, really captured him. I mean, this is an extraordinarily good portrait, and I like the background of Habitat for Humanity. Now, this again is my sweet spot. You know, paper, fabric, beads, thread, paint, trinkets. You know, it's hard to tell what's what. I mean, one of the reasons I like jurying a show in person is so I could really see what I'm looking at here. But I just thought it was, you know, I just loved all the combination of materials, and the outcome was just this really warm and sweet face of a woman. Um, and so just really liked the textures and the colors, and it just, the whole thing worked as far as I was concerned. It just worked. Mitzi's work. Mitzi's an amazing collage artist, and so this again hits me in my sweet spot. And she has an amazing way of putting together a lot of different images, but still making a point. And you know, as we all know these days, women are on fire. We're taking over. I mean, we've given men a lot of chances and they keep screwing it up. So, no offense, guys, but you know what I mean. And so I think this has got a lot of the powerful women in the world, and I think it's a fabulous piece. And I love the colors and how it's all put together. And you know, collages can be messy. This is not a messy collage, and so you know she does it beautifully, and just you know huge details in it. And I always say about works like this is you could probably spend every day of the rest of your life looking at a piece of art like this, and you're not going to see it all. I mean, you could look at it 1,000 times, and something else is going to poke out at you that you never saw before. So that's also incredibly interesting.
Well, in this space that we have, I would invite any artists that have any questions or comments to formulate them while Miss Goldberg is handling her business. When she comes back, it will be Q&A. Like I said, any questions or comments will be accepted at this time. If you don't want to unmute yourself and put them, well, say it in front of everyone, you can put in the chat and I'll read it out. But yeah, just think about what you want to say to Miss Goldberg.
And my whole front yard is a sculpture garden, so somebody drove by and wanted to sell me some stone Mayan heads. You never know what's going to go on.
Well, like I said, any artists that have any questions or comments, Miss Goldberg, if you want to raise any questions to the artists, now is the time to do so. We have a few of the award winners in here now. If you want to raise questions about their piece, if they want to raise questions, now is the time to do so.
I would just like to say, this is so wonderful. Thank you, Margery.
You're welcome.
Thank you all. I'm amazed that in the midst of such wonderful art and such great artists that I could get any award, because it's the fabulous art here. Just thank you so much. This is so exciting.
Well, you do great work.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate hearing that. Thank you. Makes a big difference. Thank you. I'm proud of her. My dragon on fire and the women inside her who have changed the world and changed our worlds. And it was a fun piece to put together. It was great research and learning about incredible women and incredible kinds of things that they've done, and you know, changed all of our lives. So thank you very much for acknowledging her. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, anything that shows empowered women, I always like.
Yay!
Yeah, Ms. Bernard, just to piggyback off what you said, so these women that are depicted, are they, I see Michelle Obama, but the others I'm not too familiar with. Are they all women that have had an impact on?
Yep.
Okay, interesting.
Every image in of a woman who has bravely, courageously done something that has changed the lives of women. You know, it goes all the way back to, like, say, Joan of Arc, up to Kamala Harris, and everybody in between. And you know, they're women that I've chosen. Of course, there's loads and loads of other women who've done wonderful things too, but they each have done something that has impacted the lives of people in the world, particularly women, and who have been incredibly brave and changed everything that we know. So yeah, it was a great fun piece for me to do. Lots of research and finding the right images and placing them, and really feeling like I was creating something that was impactful.
Actually, I just had a thought. Two things. One, is Anne Frank in this?
Yes,
I thought so. Right above the point. It would be good to do a list of all the women in this piece.
I have one, and it has a list of all the women. It is a QR code, and it goes to my website, and it shows the list of all of the women, and it also has a map on her, on the dragon, that shows who's where. So yeah, so if you happen to be standing looking at her and you go, oh, well, who's that? It can tell you, oh, let's see, let's look that up. That's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Oh, okay. Oh, there's Rosa Parks. So yeah, and that's what I think is kind of fun about it, because it can also be kind of not only inspirational, but educational too.
Isn't that what art is?
I think so. I mean, that's her story, and it, you know, makes me happy.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for acknowledging her.
When I talk about art, one of the things I say is the art is the emotional history of our times. And, you know, before there was even the written word, there was art and paintings, and that's what told us how people felt during that era. And so even back as far as the cave painting, we knew what was going on because of that art. And so, you know, and now the art reflects the times we're living in, and in a sense who our heroes are,
her values. Yes. Yeah, I'm very proud of her. Thank you very much for recognizing her and acknowledging her. Thank you so much.
I mean, every time I see it, I see somebody else.
That's the idea.
I know.
And to get people thinking about women and what great women have done. There's also some images in there of regular women. Like there's one in there that's called Your Grandmother, and another one of a pregnant woman, just regular people who have done great things too.
No, one could say that just being pregnant is a fantastic thing.
Right.
If they just leave us alone to have our babies and just, you know,
right,
to decide on our own bodies, that would be a nice thing.
No, it's how we all got here. So I agree with you, Ms. Goldberg. Yeah, any other questions or comments from the artists?
Margery, will you be at the reception?
It happens to be on Yom Kippur.
Oh, okay.
Which is the highest holy day in the Jewish year. So no, that is not going to happen. I would love to have been, but of all the days, if it was Rosh Hashanah, I would have maybe been there. But it's just, no. I'm going to be in synagogue, and then I'm having people over for break fast. There'll be a pile of very hungry Jews here. If I get to Annapolis before then, I'll try to come see the show.
Any other questions or comments? Now is the time.
I just wanted to make a comment. I was really happy to be in this show. When I went to the gallery and saw everything put up and hung, I just thought, wow, look at all the different kinds of stuff that's in here. You know, oftentimes when you go to galleries in other cities, you see some nice artwork, but a lot of times it's not very inventive. And I thought this show, it was really inventive. And Margery, I love what you chose in terms of really honoring that, the unusualness of some of these pieces. I just thought it was fabulous.
Well, if you come to my gallery, you'll get that too, you know, and a lot of it. I like the unusual, you know, which is, of course, how I've stayed in business for 46 years. I like the well done and the well thought out and the unusual, and I love sculpture. So I mean, I have 2 sculpture gardens here.
I think that's all for today. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Goldberg, for your time, not just today, but throughout the whole exhibition. You made the exhibition, and we really do appreciate that. At this point, if you don't want to say any closing remarks, now is the time.
Well, I would just say, all of you just keep doing it, you know, the more you do, the better you get at it. And, you know, it's very rewarding work. I always say artists don't think in terms of weeks, years, or decades. We think in terms of centuries and millenniums. Because what we do lasts. I always tell a client is your first decision is whether you're going to buy the piece, and your second decision is who you're going to leave it to. I mean, I show a lot of paper mache sculpture, and they have dug up paper mache from China that's 5,000 years old. So, you know, just think of all the paintings throughout history that are still with us, and, you know, very little survives longer than art does, and even longer than architecture, really, in some cases. So, you know, what you're painting now becomes part of your history and history in general.
Yeah, wonderful worded. I really appreciate all the insight that you've provided, Ms. Goldberg. You can tell that you're someone who's been in the field for a very long time, knows her stuff, and we really appreciate you working with us and, like I said, making the exhibition what it is. So in closing, I just want to thank you all so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
This will be on YouTube, so if you want to watch it back, share it with friends, you know, anything, it'll be there. Visit our YouTube to see what we put out. It's not just virtual award ceremonies, we have other things that we publish as well. But thank you all so much for your time again, and have a great rest of your Sunday. Take care.
Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Have a good Sunday, everyone. Bye.
Nice seeing everybody.